and I will not hear any shenanigans. I'm calling the meeting to order. I'm tough. Larry?
Here.
Not yet. Mr. Jake Giordino?
Not here.
Not here. Karen Chauvin?
Also not here.
Not here. Carol Boubressard? Not here. Janice
Here.
is here.
Thank you.
JJ? Not here. Dr. Davis is here.
Running this shit.
Dr. Cleveland Hill is not here yet, maybe. Larry Howell,
Here.
my former boss. Dr. Kimberly Reynolds
Here.
is here. Jason Talbot is here.
Here.
Dr. Steve Welch
I'm here, former subservient.
is by my side. PTA non-voting, Brittany's not here. No. And Dr. Boudreaux
Here.
is here.
We have a quorum.
You want to do Angelique Rodriguez here,
I am,
Angie
sir.
Berthelot is here, Emily Bourgeois
Not here.
not here,
And Miss Mantia.
Mantia
Here.
is here. Thank you. Half of that. Six. We're okay. Quorum is here. Thank you for your patience, and now for the approval of the minutes as presented, February 26, 2026.
Move we approve.
Move we approve, although I don't think we need a motion,
No.
but that's all right.
There's
Don't?
Let it
no
be known.
objections.
No objections, any corrections? Great. Board training, we had an announcement about Ms. Woods. Other than that, do we have any other presentations? No?
No.
We'll move on to the most important part of the meeting.
That's right.
That's correct, the teacher representative report.
My name is Kay. I'm the lower math teacher. So we'll start with lowers update. In ELA, first and second graders are currently working on word families in addition to their individualized small groups. So far, they have covered ack, ache, am, and an. Next week, they will be wrapping up families for the vowel A with the ank family before moving on to another vowel. Third graders are currently working on responding to questions with textual evidence for their Junie B. Jones novel in addition to their small groups. They've been exploring relevant vocabulary words and will be testing on those words next week. For math, first and second graders have worked hard to master expanded form in order to better understand the value of each digit in multi and triple digit numbers. We then moved to using expanded form to add double digit and single digit numbers. We started with expanded form to give the kids a better understanding of why they need to regroup when we move on to the standard algorithm. We've officially moved on to adding double and single digit numbers with regrouping, and they really are rocking it. At the end of class, we do an exit ticket that is a little harder than what we target to test for generalization. For their exit ticket, they have to solve a double-digit addition problem, so 2 double-digit numbers. 50% of our students have showed generalization from learning how to add a double-digit and a single-digit number. We see a lot of times that students at our school need to be taught every concept individually, so we're very proud to see that 50%. Third graders have been working on understanding multiplication, and I'm very happy to say they truly are understanding it. The kids have mastered using arrays and groups to solve single-digit problems. We've now moved on to double-digit times a single digit. We've also shifted how we solve the single-digit problems within. We're using a method that targets skip counting to solve the problems instead of drawing out each array or equal groups. This will get them prepared for fourth grade when they are working towards fluency with multiplication. The kids really are doing so well. Again, their exit ticket we do is slightly harder to test for generalization. So depending on what level those kids are on, their exit ticket is either 3 digits multiplied by a single digit or 4 digits multiplied by a single digit. The kids have been doing so well with multiplication. I'm excited to move on to division and see how these concepts generalize to division. General announcement for lower school. The students are very excited to be working towards an Easter Fun Friday celebration that we are holding next week on Thursday. This is a behavior contingency following a changing criteria design intended to shape challenging behaviors and increase appropriate behaviors for all students over the course of the school year. Thanks to our amazing parent donations, we have an Easter hunt, special crafts, and raising canes for the students to work towards. For middle math, 5th grade is working with fractions, adding, subtracting, equivalent, multiplication, and division. 4th grade is working with long division, and then they will head into understanding fractions. Science, 4th grade is wrapping up with plants and animal adaptation for survival and the senses. 5th is wrapping up matter. ELA, both classes, 4th and 5th, are working on Unit 2 of CKLA, and we are also incorporating lots of LEAP practice. For social studies, 4th grade is wrapping up Unit 2, Chapter 3, Ancient Egypt. 5th grade is in the middle of Unit 2, Western African Kingdoms, and they're also incorporating lots of LEAP practice within their lessons. Upper, ELA 6th grade will be finishing up their yellow fever unit in a few weeks, right before LEAP for the 7th and 8th graders start. 8th grade started their 3rd unit, Frankenstein, and 7th grade will be finishing their Phineas Gage unit right before LEAP testing. They're continuing to work through fluency and vocabulary as well. Upper Science, 6th and 7th, have started new units and have their field trips coming up the first week of May. The 8th grade's trip to LumCon was amazing. They had a good time and were able to add valuable data to the wildlife and fisheries database for 2026. Social studies, 6th grade are preparing to test on the ancient of Confederation. 7th grade will complete Reconstruction after the Civil War, and 8th graders are finishing Chapter 2, Louisiana and Huey Long era. General announcement for upper, Max Color Guard has their championships tomorrow at the Civic Center, and they perform at 5:51. I just went and asked Ms. Gore if that was a typo, and she said no, it is 5:51 p.m. Math, 6th graders are exploring ratios, 7th graders are learning about turning fractions into decimals, and the 8th graders are working on solving equations. For SPED, lower school SPED and intervention, lower school is continuing to work on various phonics skills. Students that are fluent in their reading skills will begin progress monitoring with Maze in addition to fluency. They will also begin literacy and math state screeners starting in April. Middle SPED, middle school is working on phonics intervention with Teach a Child to Read Well, and upper school is working on LEAP testing strategies to prepare them for the LEAP after spring break.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Good question.
You said they were able to, the 8th grade, they were able to add valuable data. So when they were on the field trip, they were out collecting samples and that, awesome.
Day 2, when they wake up, the reason we have a 2-day, they spend the first day going out into the marsh collecting samples. Sometimes they are able to do certain things. They have those portable microscope things and checking out the samples in situ, but when they come back, they get to use the labs that are there. So it's a long first day because I think even after dinner, they have to go back to the labs and do certain things and have certain lessons. But they wake up early the next morning so that they can go out on the boat, because the boat does these regularly scheduled trawls. They pull in stuff and then they count all the different things that are in there. They pass that along to Wildlife and Fisheries as they keep an eye on the populations that are out there.
That's like an incredible experience.
Yeah. And thank you once more, and it is my pleasure to hand the floor over to Ms. Berthelot and the financial report.
Thank you.
Oh, yes, thank you.
Thank you.
No problem.
Thanks, Dr. Davis. Thank you guys for coming. The month of February, everything that I have indicates that things are running smoothly and as normally as possible. No major out of the ordinary things to pop up. Of note, just one of the things I like to point out on the expenditures, the fundraiser, the special account that
we called it the CABUS account at one time. That's the account that we use for our field trips and our fun days and things of that nature. So you'll start seeing a little bit of negatives on that one, just because at the end of the year is when we spend most of the money that we took in from the early part of the year fundraisers and stuff. But nothing crazy or out of the ordinary, very much in line with what we've done in the past years. If you notice that the operating account is still steadily on the incline from year to year. We're still getting interest on those money markets and 90-day CDs, a little less quickly as we did in the years past, but still some interest bearing on those accounts. That's always a good trend to see. And a few notes about the happenings of February, the usual reimbursement requests and claims. I do normally request claims as we spend. That's how I like to do it, just because it looks better on the cash flow. Some people do it quarterly, but I prefer to do it monthly. So Title I, IDEA, lunch claims, things of that nature. Last time you guys were here, we talked about Act 370, and I think we joked about the ACT, but no, it is a Louisiana Treasury report. I did submit it, like I had mentioned. It was approved, and I didn't have any issues or errors. So there's a website, the Louisiana Treasury website, that you can go and click on every school system in the state and look at what their contracts and expenditures look like. And we're uploaded to there as well. I did begin working last month and continuing work on the budget for next school year. A couple of weeks ago, I attended the LASBO. I think I didn't put that on here, but LASBO Spring Conference in Lake Charles. And it's the business officials of Louisiana. There are usually about 300 or 400 people in attendance, so it was really good and informational, and I was happy to be able to bring back some new knowledge, I guess, if you will. And then really finally all I have to talk about is Dr. Hill mentioned when he went to one of the LAPCS conferences, the charter school supplemental, grant that we applied for through EGMS. It originally was for expansions or new buildings or new grades, but they had more, I guess, I don't really know all the right words, but they had more money than they thought, so they opened it up to every charter school applying for funds. I did an application asking to reimburse our curriculum expenditures that happened at the beginning of the year, and it was approved. And so the next thing, I guess, is requesting that money. But you kind of have to go in order, and you're at the mercy of LDOE. But I'll get on that as well. So some of those, it's 18,000-ish, and those beginning of the year expenditures will be covered by that. So it's really all I have. Unless you guys have any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Thank you.
Yeah, it seemed to be going in the right direction.
I think everything.
Very much
Thank
for
you.
all you do.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. We move on, I guess, now to, since you more or less covered grants, building and sites, is there anything we need to know?
Just what I had spoken to Mr. Dake last month about one of the flooring issues, because that's a never-ending battle in this building. Okay.
And we move on now to you again, the principal's
Miss
report.
Boo!
Yes.
I'm sorry.
We don't have
Glad
any
you're here.
minutes.
Nope.
Welcome.
You want to take the front and center chair?
Where's Kate? She's not here.
He's not here.
You can sit right there. Come back and sit.
I'm so sorry, ma'am. Are you okay?
Yeah. Been a difficult week.
Okay.
Principal's report?
Yes, sir. Okay, so as noted, Ms. Woods was not able did not feel that she was going to lend any new information to the board at this time because she is still working to get answers on our renewal. As I mentioned earlier, the components from the LEAP that are taken into account on our alternate framework no longer exist. And so getting clarity on what that means for any schools on an alternate framework has not been forthcoming at this time. And they don't always talk to each other. So Ms. Woods was here today representing school choice as part of charter accountability. So Ms. Woods was here doing her annual site visit. One of the components of said annual site visit is a review of IEP. So she comes in, I give her my roster, she says, I want this, this, and this, and this, and I give her those IEPs, and she goes through the IEPs to verify that we are doing the things that we need to do, that we have assured that we're doing in the state of Louisiana as a public school. We did very well. Okay, shout out to Miss Billiot and Miss Melton in the special ed department for having, and I quote, beautiful folders. So she went through them, she picked her 10, and we had no findings for this turn of events. And then I quipped, well, that's good because we have a special ed desk audit coming up next month. She had no clue. She wouldn't have had. That's a completely different department who is conducting the desk audit on 10 different IEPs, or some of them were overlapping, that we will continue to have. So
That's a good indicator of the
yes,
likelihood of success,
yes,
isn't
yes,
it?
sir, yes, sir.
That's great.
So we did talk a little bit, and she is still trying to find people who can answer that prior to, you know, whatever's going to happen the following December. Aside from that, everything else checked out because we don't have just the IEPs. We have safety concerns that she has to check off, and business concerns and credentialing concerns that had to be checked off, and we did very well today. Now we are finalizing application reviews. The March 31st is our deadline. We had like, I want to say 7 new applications come in today. Everyone, they're just like college kids. They are waiting for that last minute. In fact, today, those are the go-getters. They're like trying to be on top of it. We're going to still have people coming in March 31st. Leap Pep Rally with TLU and Cheer is going on April 14th. That is the day before our LEAP testing window starts here, which will be April 15th to May 14th. The 16th annual opera production is still going on. We have our first Saturday rehearsal and practice going on this Saturday. We have a Stennis field trip on May 15th. So that's coming up. And our awards ceremony, everyone should have gotten their invitation sent out or clipped on your paperwork, that we will have our awards ceremony May 21st at 9 o'clock in Peltier Auditorium. Now, Dr. Shanman continues to meet with us. Last Wednesday, I was able to meet with him and our 3 newest teachers on the ongoing stuff that we're working on in terms of reinforcements, a fixed schedule of reinforcement for students that need supporting those new teachers who are still adjusting to what goes on inside the building. After that meeting had finished, he did ask me to stay on, and we spoke a little bit about the events at hand, and he indicated an openness to transitional contract support. He wanted to be clear, transitional, because we do have an ABA teacher here at Nichols that could possibly be available, but he understands that coming in cold and blind on this would not really be helpful, and so he's willing to work in that 3-way with Max, that's that professor, and him guiding with that. Yes, sir.
I did have an opportunity to speak with Dr. Gotro.
Yes, sir.
We talked about it, and he also, I think, indicated to me, he couldn't speak for Dr. Shannon, but for himself too, that he would be willing to continue to participate with us, moving forward as well.
Yes, thank you. And last but not least, transportation, still no other applicant.
And Dr. Reynolds, I guess there would be no conflict as far as you see with our doing some
With-
kind
with,
of
Dr.
agreement with
Shaman?
Dr. Shannon.
No, sir, that'll be fine.
Maybe then we could think about having the finance committee meet to come up with some appropriate funds. I'm not sure how that works, but I think we should pursue that because of the obvious value of it. And that, who is the finance committee again that you like?
Yeah, we were.
Well, just to get an idea of,
Yeah. I don't remember everyone that's on it.
okay, well, we'll get that. We'll get that.
And I could prepare some stuff
Something.
maybe too.
I think we have done that in the past with testing. I think some supplemental funds, that worked pretty well. But thank you, Dr. Reynolds, for anything you're doing.
Would it be, I'm sorry, would it be appropriate at this time to kind of get an idea of what this transitional structure would be in terms of cost?
It was not discussed at length.
Well, I guess I realize that. I guess it's just a question to other board members, and folks that are gonna be on that committee.
Would it be,
How should we, do we need to say we're going to do this officially as a motion? Maybe we do that the next meeting after we have more information
Yeah,
about.
I think, when we get more information, the finance committee ought to meet and then make a recommendation to the board.
yeah, that would be great.
I guess, and I'm trying to get the sequence of things squared away that we're going to approve moving with a transitional phase with Dr. Shannon. That would be something we would have to decide. I guess at some point we would need to have an idea of what those expenses might be to give that data to the finance committee. So I don't know how we should do about that structurally as a
Well, the
board.
finance committee could meet
Right.
to determine what we feel we can do with him and then bring that to the board for the board's
Okay.
approval.
All right.
And with the range, and Larry, you worked on this so many times, I'm not sure how adjunct work is at Nichols or.
I don't,
So we could-
I
I
don't
think
know
it's
where it is
decreased.
now. I remember it used to be
It's per head.
1,500 a class. You
Not-
know,
If
it
you were
ain't that
lucky.
no
Not
more.
anymore.
$100 a head.
100 ahead. But we'll definitely work on that. Dr. Reynolds, if you have some input, let us know.
Yeah, I mean, when I talked to Dr. Shannon, and then I filled you in, Dr. Davis, you could talk to him, he is open to it. I'm not sure, because what he was doing for Max was, he didn't get a course reduction or a stipend or anything from Nichols. So that was strictly volunteer, of his time. So again, it would mean approaching a faculty member in the department to see if they would be willing to perhaps volunteer when that transitional period is over. And right now, we only have one who hasn't even been with us a year, who is
Yeah.
CAVAS trained. So it would just be up to her.
And it would still, I'm sure it's a good resource for us, and we'll get that straight. So Larry, if you can move forward, I don't think we need anything formal, but I'm sure Angie could,
Well, when it comes to funding, I guess that would be my only questions.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a max, foundation type of a pay thing, or is it funding I should secure,
Well,
or is it, that's the
You know,
only
I
question.
think that's something, we have to look at with Jake and.
Yeah, and I'll get with Sadie as well.
Yeah.
Usually quarterly, she sends me the financial stuff for
Oh,
the
okay.
foundation. I hadn't looked at it in a little bit, but I'll get that for at the end of this quarter, I guess. So at the next meeting, I'll have my quarterly and the foundations as well to talk about.
So So then I think we could have the finance committee meeting,
Yeah.
once we know all the A's, B's, and C's.
And that's how I think it works. They work with you on that, and then you see what's feasible
Yep.
and not.
And ethical and legal
And
and all of the
ethical.
things, so, right.
Thank you all. We'll definitely move on that. And now the parent committee, Dr. Boudreaux.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Since the last month's board meeting, there have been no additional, there's no financial activity to report, no additional income or expenses during the period. So the fund balance, PTA fund balance, remains at $9,829.48. And at this time, the PTA board, I talked to Ms. Brittany last night, is actively working on pricing and engaging vendors for our upcoming end of the year activities. These events are approaching quickly, so we are being intentional about comparing costs and ensuring that we make the sound financial decisions that align with available funds. And looking ahead, our next PTA meeting, which is scheduled for April 22nd at 6 p.m., is expected to have a full agenda with a strong focus on finalizing plans and addressing outstanding questions related to these end-of-the-year activities. That's coming up.
And I won't be able to make that meeting again. I'm presenting an award, 2 awards that day for some students. If somebody else would volunteer to attend on
April 22nd,
April 22nd,
yes, 6 o'clock.
and that's when mine starts. We'll get somebody over there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now we're moving on to new board business, other questions or concerns. I think some of you got an email about a letter of support for possible activities in Go Hall that could lead to our site on campus. And we all know there's a reason we changed our name, and our stakeholders are very much for that. Larry?
Yeah, I think that's something we need to have a discussion individually on, because I think we probably all have a different feel for what that should be and all that. You know, I would rather wait on it, and I know there's a deadline and all that, but I think we should wait.
We, of course, I need to be giving more information, because I'm kind of, we're talking about maybe doing one as a board or individual ones, and should we hold off on both?
I think we should hold off.
Yeah.
It's not a given yet.
Right.
I think we need to wait.
Okay.
And I think Jake will fill us in with that. He keeps up with that.
Yeah.
But it's, I think, highly important for us, especially the connection with Nichols. So I'm ready, especially with the affiliation document that we signed through the College of Ed and Behavioral Science. Anything else? May I bring up a policy issue? That,
I agree that we should probably discuss more first.
okay.
Do you need to go into executive session, or?
I don't think so.
Not do it.
No. I don't think
Did
so.
you have a policy issue to bring up before we leave? Something in the bylaws, making sure we adhere to the conflict of interest?
That was turned in actually.
Okay.
When you sent me the final one, I was able to forward that to Miss Woods. Prior to her coming here, she was very grateful for having all that done, and that also added to, yep, check, we're doing all the things that needed to be done.
Good.
And another issue has come up which we will pursue at another time, and It was my great pleasure to conduct this meeting today with my colleagues on the board. It's been a pleasure also being a charter member of this illustrious board from the beginning, and we've got to keep going, as you all know, and we will. That being said, do I hear a motion to adjourn? I will entertain a motion from
Second.
Mr. Howell, second from Dr. Welch. Thank you all.
Okay.
Well done.